Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again today. I thought I was going to do a watercolor pen sketchbook page, but I got new acrylic markers in the mail, some new colors. So we'll be using those, along with, of course, my kneaded eraser and a pencil and a ruler. We're going to do a simple page full of leaves. I haven't done botanicals in a while, and I was really in the mood. I'm using my mini ruler to make a frame around the page, and I like to line my ruler up with the perforation on the side of the page, just in case I want to rip the page out and actually frame it, so it's equal on all four sides. As usual, this page is very simple and easy. We will be putting random stems of leaves scattered along the page. I'm going to start this first stem with almond-shaped leaves because this is the first shape that comes to mind when I think about a leaf. As usual, feel free to do any type of leaf you want. This is simply a suggestion, and it won't matter if you change it up. If you are a beginner and not used to making leaf shapes, it might be easier for you to draw a guideline like I did just here and draw a curved line around that guideline, and it'll help you make an almond shape, and it'll help you also make them uniform if you're looking for a uniform stem of leaves. Now, the beauty in this page, I think, is how they're scattered on top of each other. So there's a sense of depth that some are on the bottom and some are on the top. So what I'm doing here is layering another stem over the first one. This time I will be using a teardrop shape, which is even simpler in my opinion. And the next one is a wavy shaped leaf, which is really fun. One of my favorites of the bunch. And I also did a paddle or eucalyptus shaped stem, and they come out a little further from the main stem, as you see here. And I went ahead, since this one is touching the side of the page, I drew outside of the frame. I won't be coloring that in. I will be erasing it with my eraser, but it's easier to get a correct shape of leaf when you draw through even places that you don't intend the line to be. I've decided to stick with 4 different shapes of leaves and draw them multiple times around the page for unity, and I'll also be coloring the same shapes, the same color, so that the colors are sort of scattered around the page evenly. And you can see I'm tucking in leaves on the sides and the corners, from the top and from the bottom, just so it's nice and full and there's lots of things to look at. What's funny is that even after I'm finished coloring all of these in, I go back and add additional leaves because I wanted it just full of color. I went in and used my eraser to lighten the lines because even though the markers are opaque, sometimes they peek through the lighter colors. And I'm starting with navy, one of my favorites, and I'm working in all of the wavy leaves. And that brings me to a question I have for all of you. Why do you sketch? Why do you keep a sketchbook? Now, I am a professional artist, so I often use the sketchbook to generate ideas and play with different color combinations. But I think the biggest reason why I work in a sketchbook is to relax and calm down. When my brain is busy making shapes and coloring in lines, it's too preoccupied to worry about anything else. So my question for you is, why do you sketch? I'm really curious. You'll see here is when I get to a point where I have drawn over the line, and I'm just very careful not to color in that part that's outside the frame. I probably should have erased the shapes outside the lines before I started coloring. You'll see I make a little mistake at the end, but it's totally up to you. So I go slow here and I just enjoy the process. This green is one of my new colors. It's something that I wouldn't normally have chosen, but I decided to experiment. It's this light green and it's really fun and vibrant, and I think it makes the navy blue pop. This isn't an ad though for this particular brand of acrylic markers. I simply haven't had a chance to use any other brand. So if you know of any that you love, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to try them out. When you get to a point where your sketches overlap, it's totally up to you whether you go under or over a leaf you've already colored in. Just make sure it is completely dry so that you're not smearing the two colors together. Sometimes you do have to go over the leaf twice. Here is one of my other new colors, a light purple. I don't know what's going on with me lately. I've never gravitated toward this color, but I can't seem to get enough of it right now. If you follow me on social media, TikTok or Instagram, soon I will be posting a time-lapse version of this type of sketchbook page, and there is tons of purple in it. I also picked up this new color. It's an ochre, but the tip is much bigger than my other markers. It's a PC5M. So in order to get a thin stem line, I load up my scratch paper with paint, and I used a very thin paintbrush to paint in the stem line. This brand of acrylic marker doesn't carry the same color in all of the same tips, and ochre is one of my absolute favorite colors. So I went ahead and bought it anyway. This wider tip is also great for coloring backgrounds, but I really wanted to use it on these leaves, so I went ahead and opted for the paintbrush, and it worked just fine. I did actually go over the frame lines. That's the mistake I was talking about earlier, but it is definitely an easy fix. You can see here with the wider tip, I have to go a bit slower filling in these leaves. I could have used the paintbrush again, but I think that would have taken too long. And if I went slow enough, it worked out just fine. Here is where I used a white Jelly Roll pen just to correct a couple of tiny mistakes. You could also use some bleed-proof white paint or a white Posca marker. And here is where I added more leaves, which was really actually very simple. I just drew in some more wavy lines and extended the stem, and it filled in the page a bit more. Here's another spot where I thought a hint of green would look nice, so I added a little corner leaf. Here's the finished page. Before you erase any pencil lines, make sure everything is completely dry. If you notice, I didn't add anything extra to the leaves. I liked it the way it was, nice and simple, solid colors, but don't hesitate to jazz it up. You could add veins to the leaves or background color or background texture. Just make it yours. As always, I'd love to know how this works out for you. Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to see it if I could. I did do this one other time with slightly different colors. Here's how it turned out. And I hope this gets you in your sketchbook this week. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.